So here's how it broke out. Two of these groups, the ones that they could build an always-on relationship with, one was in marketing and communications. These are people who would take a look at your marketing activity, your advertising, and they loved commenting about that. That didn't go out of style. That was still relevant. And there was a second group that was just focused on high tech, and yes, they are getting into the connected home, but guess what? A whole lot of high tech influencers want to know more about this connected home thing too. So again, they were able to take two groups that they had relationships with and just extend them into this new area. And then, as I said, they identified two new groups that they had never really worked with before. One of them was lifestyle and design. Now, why is that important? Well, in the connected home, you now come in contact with a whole lot of people who are going to make decisions about, do I want that in my living room? You know, it's a whole different set of issues. And believe it or not, they're actually connected home influencers. Cool. You know, let's target those folks too, and we'll put together not one, not two, but 4 different tailored programs. Okay? So with the marketing and communication influencers who they'd had a long relationship with, they created a campaign, and in French it's Bouger Roger. My French is horrible, so I apologize. Jarboe, by the way, is of French ancestry, so I should be able to pronounce this, but I'm sorry. I'm American through and through, and I'm probably murdering. What it translates in English is, Roger, can you please come? So translate that into French, and your translation is probably going to be way better than mine. But they had a campaign, and it featured this character. And then what they did was to take that television ad campaign and turn it into an interactive activity that you could play online, and basically asked the marketing and communications influencers to play along. Could they come and play? And they gave them a toolkit. They sent each one of them a toolkit to invite them to participate in this experience. So that was plan number 1. Now, for a brand new group they had never interacted with before, the lifestyle and design influencers, they realized they had to do something very different. So what they did was they organized an event. This PR event was held at a really classy showroom in downtown Paris. It was the B&B Italia showroom. And the objective was to show how their new product, Home Life, fit into the chic decor of the modern home. In other words, this is something you'd be proud to show off to your friends. Why? Well, that's what made these people tick. Oh, by the way, that's what made the people who are influenced by them tick. So again, how do you make this come alive? You have an event. You invite the right influencers to a really cool place, and you show your product situated in this really cool place and see how natural it fits. Now, the last two groups, one is new, one is old. One is high tech, which they've been working with forever. The other one are connected home influencers they'd never worked with before, but guess what? Although they were old and new and they were, quote, different segments, they actually had more in common than you might think. So they basically put together a third campaign for two different segments of influencers, and was the Je Teste Orange. How's that for French? Basically, will you please test my product, write a review, be honest. By the way, if you really like the product, you're welcome to participate in our forums where users can ask you for your expert opinion. And oh, by the way, we're planning to create a roundtable group of influencers to help us guide what future versions of this product will look like. Oh yeah, oh yeah, it worked, it worked. So with each group, they tailored a different kind of program. Each one basically rang the bell for what made that group tick. And yeah, there were 4 segments, but there turned out they only needed 3 bells. But here's the outcome. They basically were able to generate 14,000 mentions on social networks. When it came to conversations around the topic connected home, Orange, or Orange, had a 60% share of voice in those conversations. They ended up, because of all the inbound links from all of those posts, boosted the product website's search engine rankings. Oh, by the way, they won't disclose the specific number, but they saw a, quote, significant increase in website traffic. Yeah. Yeah. Influencer relations piggybacked on influencer marketing, combined intelligently so that you are doing the right thing with the right segment, generated measurable results. Now, at this point, I've been telling you a lot about how you should engage influencers. And yes, I've sort of immodestly said, you know, some people might consider me an influencer. Let me tell you who I consider is an influencer. His name is Lee Oden. He's the CEO of Top Rank Marketing. He is the poster boy for influencers. You will literally see him on the cover of magazines. You know, the most influential person known in the United States. Well, guess what? Lee and I have been on the circuit together. We know each other. And let me share with you some videos that Lee just made for this course, for you. He couldn't make it into the studio. He's out there in Minneapolis. He's on the road. But he was able to basically videotape in his own studio some insights and some key thoughts on the topic of Influence 2.0, which is a term that he and others have coined to talk about this taking influencer marketing to the next level of influencer relations. So with that as introduction, let me turn things over to Lee. Thank you, Lee. That was really insightful. I'm going to have to take notes myself, but I want to, on behalf of all the students in this class, say I was a student too. You know, learn something new. That's one of the reasons you bring in outside experts. You know, you basically get to pick their brain, get their expertise. So that then brings us to what I call the peer-graded assignment at the end of this particular module. In this assignment, like you have before, I want you to apply what you've learned to write yet another 5-paragraph essay. Okay, you've got that drilled down. The topic of this essay, however, is how to develop an always-on program that builds relationships with your influencers. Again, you know, state your thesis in the opening paragraph, you know, provide some examples in paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, you know, summarize, come up with an interesting conclusion. That's the rubric for grading this. And, you know, when you're finished writing it, we're going to ask you to share it with 3 of your colleagues here in the course, and 3 of them are going to share theirs with you. And, you know, this is peer review. This is learning from the other people who are participating in this class. And this is, again, something that you can keep and save and show your boss and show your next potential employer. This is the kind of way that we can transition from, influencer marketing campaigns as we knew them to influencer relation programs that are always on.